lay that pup like that. Ready, go.
All right, how you doing there, man? We got
All right, yeah.
got a legendary figure in here, man. We got I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, my name is Robert Goody Whitfield.
And what kind of people tell the people a little bit about yourself, Mr. Goody?
Well, those that don't know, I'm a musician and I'm a recording artist. I work with a lot of people. I'm Yarborough and Peoples, those are my peoples. And the Gap Band, of course, you know, that was my claim to fame, playing with Charlie and all of them. And they proceeded to make sure I had a deal and did a couple of albums. So I got to travel around the world with them. Right now, I'm 75 years old. I was a young man when I was doing that back then.
Right.
But I see there's still some life out here. There's some room out there to hear the stories that the things that we did back then and the people I was with, because I have some receipts, you know, from Shaka Khan to Billy Preston. I mean, I made sure that I was in contact with all those guys out there, and so I have some stories to tell, and you give me time, we're gonna get into it.
All right, Mr. Goody. So what would be some of your greatest accomplishments?
Well, let me see. My greatest accomplishments. I can name some of the people I got the chance to play with growing up as a kid and listen to their records, and then I ended up playing with them. Like I'll start with Natalie Cole, who I called her Annie Mae. Oh, she was so beautiful to me. I went to Europe with her, and that was a big accomplishment because my dad was a Nat King Cole fan, you know, and I got a chance, and my dad was alive when I was working with her. He got a chance to see her when I came to Dallas, when we played in Dallas. So that was a big accomplishment for people to see, and for me to come to the reunion arena with my name across there, with the Gap Band, Goody, and Roger and Zapp. That was a major thing for me to see that, to be able to do that, for my people to see where I started from. I made it that far, you know.
Right.
And another one was, I have to name this guy. He's dead now, but his name is DJ Rogers. And he brought me from Dallas to there to play on his album, his first album. And that's what introduced me to Hollywood, was him. And he had a big hit song called "Say You Love Me." Say you love me. It was a big record, and he was a jewel for me. He introduced me to he took me to Shaka Khan. He took me to all these different people, and made sure I got a chance to know him, and got me a deal with his record company. You know, I had came to California and ran into Charlie Wilson walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and DJ Rogers got us both started and got us into the business. So I can't say about accomplishment unless I mention Dwayne Julius Rogers, God rest his soul. Let's start up here. Yeah.
You finna choke yourself. Shut up.
So, Mr. Goody, who are some of the artists that inspired you to do what you do?
Well, Stevie Wonder, Stephen Morrison. He was our guide as we were coming up. Donny Hathaway, Stevie Wonder, because if you notice, those guys play music, changes and bridges, and yeah, they don't do that today. You know, you just play. But those two people, I did a lot of their music and studied, and I'll tell you, as I got my band and we got to go, and Kaden Yarbrough was in my band, matter of fact, when we first started here in Dallas. And so that's who we used to listen to and sing in the car all day. We'd sing along with Stevie. So that was a very, very big influence as a young man. And see, my grandfather played saxophone with an orchestra called the Andy Kirk Orchestra. Back in the 30s, back there, it was like Duke Ellington and Count Basie. He was an orchestra right there. So I learned to play saxophone. So I had my music experience was so vast. I played saxophone, I played piano, I played drums, whatever I needed to get what I wanted out, I learned how to play it. And so those guys like that would influenced me too. And I have to name people like Sylvester Stewart. You might know him as Sly Stone. He was a very, very big influence on the Gap Band and all of us. And I can't go out without George, because when we got into the funk, and that was our thing back when we started in Dallas, was funk. You know, and funk not only moves, it removes. And so that was our life, funk. Matter of fact, my friends, the Brides of Funkenstein, and that whole George Clinton camp, you know, that's where the Gap Band got a lot of their music, you know, flashlight. Well, that was all Burn Rubber. That was early in the morning. That's where we got our groove from. I remember George used to come to the studio and say, "Man, y'all ought to give me some publishing money, much as my stuff y'all done took." So I have to name those guys at that whole funk nation, Bootsy and all of them. I got a chance to be with them guys, and Morris Day and Time, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. I rubbed shows with all those guys, you know. You know why I'm out of tournament?
So what keeps you going in 2024 with the music?
I'll tell you, and I can't say but one person keeps me going in 2004 with everything. Music and everything, and that's God. See, I turned my life over to him. Because I spent 43 years out there doing other people's wills instead of his. And so I believe I can still play now at 75 years old. I can still have ideas and come up with songs. I hang around the youngsters because I learned their music. My music mixes with theirs. I give them the bottom of the things that they're doing. I give them some real stuff at the bottom. And that's what keeps me going today. And they have done that for 25 years. Come play on this, man, I'll do this. And then I get to do my thing with it and it match with their music. So that God and these youngsters, like they called me over today to do a song with them, you know, that's what keeps me going in 2024, 75 years old, man, you know. Been doing this for 50 years, man, and I'm still at it. I had tried to give it up. I had tried to say, well, you at the end now, you know, the youngsters are going on. But my past keeps coming up to me, and I look at one of my best friends, Charles Wilson, Charlie, and he's still at it. He's even encouraged me. He said, no, man, it ain't over till it's over. He said, you're alive. And I know him very well. My mom died in 2021, and that was one of the first calls I got was from Charlie too. Hey man, I know your mom was leaving. Don't give up. Stay at it. Whenever you need me, call me, and I'm getting him for a podcast when we get this thing going. But truly, that's what keeps me going. People like Go Hard Black, and my man right here, Bloodshot. People like that, the Danks, the Big Dank Kings, these guys like that, they let me know that I still have something that could be used, and they keep me going. some bass, but I know when I put some bass in where the bass drum is kind of pulling from it. So, find me a bass. Let me have that one.
So, Mr. Goody, what all instruments do you play?
Well, I told you my grandfather, my father, and his brother, my first cousin, we were all saxophone players. So I started with that instrument. But as we grew and the music changed from jazz and the big bands, when we were going to the Cool Jerk and Do the Dog, we had to, saxophone was just an instrument that could play one note at a time. So we always was a piano in our house. Everybody could play something on the piano. And so I just started learning the chords and the changes and the theory of piano. And I went on to that. Now the other instruments like the drums and guitar, I don't really have guitar like I want to have it. I can get things out of it. I can play funk and E on it. But that's one of the hardest instruments that I've tackled. But saxophone, flute, I can play a flute because, embouchure is different, but the fingering is the same as a saxophone. I can play clarinet and anything that's got those three things, you move up, three up here and three down there, I can play those. But my main instrument now is the keyboard because they've done so much with it, man. You can really advance your music with the keyboard. You can write your songs, and so I'll say my favorite instrument will always be the saxophone because that's where I started, and I can never lose the love that I still have. The saxophone that my grandfather played in the 30s with the Andy Kirk Orchestra. It's been passed down, and we still have that saxophone in the family right today.
Wow.
It ain't gonna be recorded if you want to just play it right quick.
All right, Mr. Whitfield, we're gonna close out with this one for today. But any shout outs you want to give? Anybody you want to say what's up to or anything?
Yeah, I got to shout out to my partners in rhyme. Start with Ron Neal. We call him Romeo. Ron Neal wrote songs for Luther Vandross, Color Me Bad. I mean, he got them on the wall. You can see them. And I want to shout out to Big Dan King, who is a Dallas legend to me. I don't know whether you know him, but he's a rapper. I got thousands of songs with him. I got just as many songs with him as I have with Go Hard. And of course, I got to shout out to my nephew, Go Hard Black. Because without him, man, I don't know. He keeps me alive. He keeps me filled with dreams. Because see, at this age, I had stopped dreaming like I used to dream, about Madison Square Garden and all that. I did all that. But I told him, I said, at this age, I just don't have those dreams. Well, they gave me new dreams. What we're doing right now, and coming in doing studio and doing things with my man here, that's a beautiful thing that's what I'm gonna tell you right now before when we close, that my brothers, Ron Neal, Big Dan King, Go Hard Black, they kept me alive for the last 30 years.
John King made me a beat. StreetMadeTV.